Hey folks, because we're meeting online this semester, I wanted to make sure that I could have a chance to go through the syllabus with you verbally because I know sometimes there's questions about stuff. So I'm going to do my best to cover some big picture items on the syllabus so that you might get some clarity. And if you have questions, you can always follow up later accordingly. So the course we're taking this summer is CEPD 7145, Advocacy and Leadership. Some of you might know a little bit about it, but the core goals are to get you to think a little bit about what it means to be an advocate and how does advocacy inform your leadership style. And so we'll read some things and do some projects associated with that. The opening stuff on the syllabus is rather self-explanatory. Obviously, this is a summer course. This course does take place fully online, so you'll want to be careful of that. Note that you can still use the UBookMe. Some of you are all over the country, so if you want to UBookMe to do a phone conversation or a Google chat, that's fine. Also, if you're on campus here, we can certainly do in-person appointments. So know that we can still have appointments regardless of whether you're in Carrollton or not. Note that I put my Twitter account on here for, I don't know what reasons. I don't check it, but you're welcome to look at it anyway. As you know, this syllabus might change. There might be stuff that comes up. This is a relatively accelerated semester, so we don't know. I'll almost certainly keep you in the loop if something happens. Also note that because we're using CourseDen exclusively in this course, and I know that CourseDen does have its messaging box, I really hate that messaging box. If you would please email me from your university account, I would really appreciate that. That would be great. Thank you. I'll let you read the course description. You're all capable of doing that. Note that this course is 100% online, which is why I'm creating this video for you. So you've got that. I will not review directly the course objectives just for the sake of time in the video, but I would encourage you to look at those when you get a second. It will give you a good idea of what the purpose of this course is. I emailed you approximately a week ago or so to tell you that we're reading the Comavez Wagner and Associates Leadership for a Better World. I really like this book. I think it's super approachable. It's an easy read, and it's very thoughtful and a different spin on leadership, which I think you'll all appreciate. Everyone probably has a copy of the APA manual, but I included that on here for you anyway. Also, you received an email from me earlier this week, and if you haven't looked at it, don't panic, but you should look at it about choosing a book that you would like to read this semester. Note that there's a description on here. I would like for you to choose a book about an identity you don't know much about or an identity you'd like to learn more about. We will use this to inform some of the course projects. So the book being about an identity or an experience about a person or by a person that you don't know much about is really important regarding your choice. So think carefully about who you might like to learn about and choose a book by an author or about a topic accordingly. Note that there's a list of book options down here at the bottom. You can click there. You don't have to choose from this list, but know that there's a list of probably 100 books to choose from if you want to, regardless of what your topic of interest is. Per usual, you'll need to subscribe to TK20. All of you should be familiar with how to do that. So we've got that. I'm going to skip past the assignment overviews and go through some other pieces first. I'll show you the assignment overviews in full here in a second on the full schedule. So we've got that. So a core part of this course, because you all haven't had me online before and you probably have had online courses before, is really hinges a lot on your ability to engage in the discussion forums. And the way we're going to do discussion posts this semester will all actually, it will be relatively well patterned. So once you get into the rhythm of things, it's the same every week. There are 3 different types of discussion posts that you're required to complete. And each of those posts is due at the exact same time on the exact same day every week. And the prompts are pretty similar. The 3 types of posts you will publish are as follows. The first is an initial post. Initial posts are due Sunday nights at 11:55. Initial posts require you to synthesize or reflect on the course materials we've looked at for the week, or perhaps your chosen book. They're intended to get you thinking about what we've read and sort of get you sort of processing some of the things we're looking at. A key to initial posts is they should always end with you asking your classmates a question. That will be really important. Each initial post on CourseDen will remind you to do so, but know that you should be prepared to ask your colleagues a question at the end of each initial post. Again, those are due Sunday evenings at 11:55. Also note that they should be labeled with your last name underscore first name. This is really important because that's a quick way for me to make sure everyone is posted before I start to flip through them. So that's initial posts. Number two, engagement posts. Engagement posts are due Tuesday nights at 11:55. Because all of you will have done such a great job synthesizing your ideas about the readings and or your books, you will also have a chance to read through some of your peers' reflections and posts and questions. And so engagement posts require you to read at least 3 of your peers' initial posts. After you read the 3 posts, I want you to follow the prompts based on what I give you week to week. They'll change a little bit, but a lot of times it will ask you to synthesize how you understand what your classmates are thinking and answer one of your classmates' questions. That way I can see that you're reading what other people are saying, you might be learning from the differences in perspectives of what they're offering, and you're trying to grapple with the question that they toss to the group. So that's the basics on engagement posts, and those are due Tuesdays by 11:55. Last but not least, after you've done the series of reflecting and we've read and you've looked at other things, there's going to be a reflection post. Reflection posts are basically sort of your quote unquote the end to the discussion series. Ideally, as a process of writing your question, summarizing your materials in the initial posts, participating in the engagement posts, you'll have changed perspectives on things, or you might have learned things that you didn't expect to have learned, or your perspectives might have changed. The reflection post is a place that you would say something like that. Reflection posts are due Thursday nights by 11:55 p.m. And so that will be easy. So that is the discussion post series. We will do this 6 times, starting the second week of class. So be prepared to participate in those things. I know some of you are going to ask, how long should these posts be? There's no defined length. You should use your best judgment to feel as though you have sufficiently answered all of the prompts that I've given you. Note that each of these posts is worth 1.5 points. So you should take them seriously, because if you don't necessarily manage one of them well, they could add up relatively quickly regarding your grade. That's discussion posts. I won't review grading too carefully. It's pretty similar to all of the other courses you've had, and the evaluation protocol is the same as it usually is. Note also, again, this semester I'm using the late work policy. For every 24 hours something is late, I'll deduct 10%. If you are late up to 10 days, that can mean that your assignments will be worth 0 points. Because this is a short semester, you should really be careful about timeliness of work, please. That will be really important, because I have to turn stuff around very quickly so that you can continue to prepare other work as you go. So know that. Okay, so here's where we're going. I'm going to give you an overview of the tentative schedule and the assignments, and then we'll be good. So starting on Monday, the 6th, that is the first day of class. I have to confirm the roster that all of you are present in the class, so I need for you to complete a discussion post so that I can do so. So the discussion post on Monday evening is going to be an introduction of your book choice, and I will use that introduction to finally approve book choices for the semester. So if you have not chosen your book, or you're not really sure yet, you have until Monday night at 11:55 to submit your book option. So know that you've got that. So that's Monday. Now, Thursday the 9th, you will all have your first reading assignment, or you should have read from the text. You will also complete Strengths Quest. I will send you an email that has access to the Strengths Quest assessment. It will take you about 30 to 40 minutes. It's free because the university buys lots of copies of that. You will also need to recall your Myers-Briggs scores. If you do not have them ready, you can, there's a link below that you can look it up, and there's a free version online that you can do something with that. Thursday, you will submit your first initial post, and those will be again on CourseDen and the discussion protocols. On Sunday, the 12th, your conference proposal, if you choose to submit to SACSA, will be due to me, so I can review those and get you some feedback so you can turn them in before the deadline. If you want more details on the conference proposal protocol, I would refer to the email I sent you earlier this week just so you can get some details. But if you would like to submit your conference proposal for this course to SACSA, the drafts are due to me on the 12th by 11:55 p.m. So I can look at them and you can get them back. Note that you've got your first reflection post is due on Tuesday the 14th, and that will complete the first reflection cycle. It will go Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. We start another cycle here on the 16th. There's more readings. You'll have initial post 2. If you plan on submitting your proposal to SACSA, they're due on that Friday by 5 p.m. So make sure that you get that taken care of. The link is here below. Also, make sure you submit that conference proposal to Dropbox, because that is what I will have to grade and give you grades for. So make sure you're doing that in both places. The 19th, we continue to move forward. Your leadership assessment paper is due. You'll see some instructions here about it. This is where you will take time to synthesize readings on leadership, your StrengthsFinder inventory results, your Myers-Briggs results, and some basic thoughts you have here, and you'll notice down A through D. If you answer those particular items, you will do well. Note that this paper should be no longer than 750 to 1,000 words, so it should be relatively concise. And it should include the results of both your StrengthsFinder and Myers-Briggs within the text. That's relatively obvious, but that's the way that I'll know that you took both. So there's that. If you have questions about that specific assignment, I can address it when we get closer. Notice we continue the pattern to reflection post on the 21st. We've got an initial post on the 23rd with some more readings that will be posted on CourseDen. Conference proposals for those of you that do not wish to submit to SACSA are due on the 26th by 11:55 p.m. again to Dropbox, which is great. We're moving forward. Reflection post on the 28th. On the 30th, we've got some more reading, another initial post. On the 3rd, which I know is pre-holiday, but you can turn it in early if you want to. You'll be turning in an advocacy philosophy. The advocacy philosophy will have 2 parts. The first part, in 100 words or less, I want you to describe to me what you believe advocacy means to you personally. Like, what do you as an individual think that advocacy means to you? The second part is you're going to pretend that you're introducing the field of student affairs to a faculty member that has never heard of it. So how do you advocate on behalf of the profession to people who may not know about it? Again, this will be approximately 100 words. So you'll write those 2 brief descriptions to me, submit them to CourseDen, and you'll be great. So we've got that. On the 5th, you'll have a reflection post. On the 7th, notice I gave you the 4th of July. You're welcome. On the 7th, we've got more reading, another initial post. On the 10th, you will write a synthesis of your book and a review. Notice that your prompts down below are provide a brief synopsis of the book. Think about how the book shaped your ideas about leadership, advocacy, and or a new population. And then would you suggest this book to a future student? Why or why not? So we've got that. There's a reflection post on the 12th. We've also got, on the 14th, we've got more reading, another initial post. On the 17th, you will complete an engagement post, and then you will complete the final project for the course. And this is an advocacy statement of purpose and a literature review. Ideally, as a result of reading your book and doing some other side investigation, you should be able to start to make claims as to why a person or an identity group might need advocacy in higher education. And this is a brief paper in which you can use 5 sources to make a claim as to why you think a particular group that you have chosen might require advocacy. Now, ideally, it would relate to your book choice. If you end up choosing a book that you think will be really meaningful and it's not, you're welcome to change identity anchors for your final paper, but I just thought I would give you an easy win by choosing a book that might relate to your topic, but you do not have to do that. Know that that's the case. We've got one more reflection post, and then on the 21st, you'll do an overall course reflection. So we've got that. I have about 40 seconds left on this free trial recording, so I want to show you one more thing. I mentioned this in the email, but I want to make sure this is perfectly clear. If you plan to submit your proposal, your conference proposal to SACSA, the course grade weights are different. Be sure to look at this grading sheet right here to look at what it how those grade posts change. If you submit early to SACSA, you double the number of points your program proposal is worth, making the other assignments lighter for the rest of the semester. So look at this very carefully. Thank you. Also, if you email me